He's made the mistakes, he's learned from them, he's moved football clubs, he's dealt with pressure, he's dealt with fans, he knows how to deal with fans, he knows how to deal with teammates, and he knows what it takes to be a professional.
His enthusiasm for what he wants to do and his focus on what he wants to do is exceptional, so he will make it work, and he'll make it work in the right way.
He helped me loads, confidence-wise. He taught me how to be humble, how to relax, how to not be so aggressive, to take my time and to keep working hard.
This is the story of former professional footballer Leon Constantine, a true footballing journeyman, having played in some of England's most notorious leagues. Just over 2 months ago, Leon contacted me with the news that he was set to open an academy with the aim of guiding the next generation of footballers. In that time, I've had the pleasure of joining Leon in speaking to some of his closest friends and family. As a young person myself, the project excites me. The chance to be coached and educated by a former professional is something that should appeal to any up-and-coming footballer. But for Leon, the hard work is only just beginning.
A lot of people love football, but also they need to realise that it's not just about becoming a footballer, because the chance of becoming a professional, is really low. But if you can't become a professional, you can gain some kind of qualification that could help you, going forward in life. So if I can obviously create that opportunity for somebody, not only can I create opportunities if they are talented at football, but also if they're showing good attitude in their work, I could also open doors. If someone wants to go into a club and, shadow a first team coach, I can phone a friend and make that possible. If someone's really talented at football, I could also get them a trial somewhere. So it's a win-win situation. It's very important that we can kind of help these guys, before they get caught up in that influence of crime or getting involved with, not taking school serious and all these kind of things that happen with the youngsters nowadays. It's very important to have a positive role model. Football is a short career. You've got to deal with injuries, you've got to deal with loss of form. All these things can have a burden on your career. Whereas if you gain a qualification in something, then you can obviously take that on to another level and go further. Do you know what I mean? With whatever you're doing. So that's basically what I'm offering.
It's clear that education plays a fundamental role in the well-being of Constantine's academy. With that in mind, Leon invited me to speak to the education officers at the academy to find out more about the qualification and what exactly it offers.
The idea of coming into an academy rather than a full mainstream college was all about the niche of the difference with individuals. And not everybody enjoys school, not everybody enjoys the processes of school. So this is a completely different environment with the same structured education. So it gives people an opportunity to kind of really do some functional education and learn things that they should really enjoy doing. It covers 18 different units, 18 different topics within sport. So we go from sports journalism, sports anatomy, all the way into psychology, fitness testing, fitness education. So it talks about, or kind of covers a lot of different education units within the sports industry.
A lot of people in the past, of course, have always gone with the academia as it's called. A lot of people want to do a practical side to things as well as just doing the straight academics. Some people, for example, like to do straight A levels, and there's no problem with that. Some people can cope. I found that a lot of people like the practical element, and doing an NVQ, a National Vocational Qualification, does give you the chance to do a little bit more practical. Where you can actually look at going into schools, going into coaching sessions on a night, and actually seeing that you can, yes, do the academic side, but you can also do a practical side. Not all of us are people who like us heads in books. Some people like to learn in different ways, as everybody's a different learner, and some people like to learn by doing, taking part, and this I think gives you the best of both worlds.
The education we offer at the moment is going to be the BTEC Level 2 and BTEC Level 3 programme. The Level 2 is based around a 1-year programme, the Level 3 is a 2-year programme. With the Level 2, we're looking at those learners that may not have the best GCSEs, and it gives them a stepping stone to go on to the Level 3 after that. What we would offer is exam-based courses. So those that may struggle a little bit with the education, the kind of the exam-based aspects, it's a lot more functional. So a lot of the idea might be a bit more practical. You might be out on the grounds doing a lot more coaching. If it's sports analysis, you'll be analysing a team and that kind of process really.
It's fantastic that a person with football experience is able to not only pass on their football expertise, but also their personal expertise. There are many people, not just in football, but will say that it's sport that's actually taking them away from possibly problems that are in areas where they live and surround, and it's possibly sport that's given them the impetus to go on and change their lives.
My love of football and my love of education was able just to come together. So the idea of being able to do the education side of it, but within a football environment, was superb. Drawn from ex-professional footballers as well, being able to really give us a proper insight of how the professional game is, rather than just what people might read on the internet or good stories and bad stories, that kind of thing.
Well, he's living proof, isn't he, that it can happen. You know, it's not just something that is read in a book and someone said, oh, this can happen. He's actually walking living proof that you can actually achieve. And I think it drives people on. I think being a role model is fantastic. And perhaps we don't have enough role models, and perhaps not enough is made of role models.
I mean, one of the mistakes I made, obviously my whole journey of football, you know, I was one that didn't take school too serious. I wasn't ever stupid, but I never took education very serious. I always thought I was going to be a footballer. You know, then I didn't, you know, do very well on my GCSEs. I then, you know, redone my GCSEs, stumbled upon a BTEC course in media, which was, you know, fantastic for myself, and I went on and done very well with it. And that then led me on to university, Luton University, which I'd done a 2-year degree, which I was kind of running alongside football. I managed to turn professional within those 2 years of doing that degree, and put that degree on hold, you know, and thought, you know, I'll go back to it and finish it, but I never did, which for me was a massive mistake, because when my football career came to an end, I kind of sat back and thought, wow, what am I going to actually do?
One man that's proved to be a big influence in Leon setting up his academy is former footballer and pundit Steve Claridge. Having run his own academy for several years now, he knows what the key ingredients are for success, and his knowledge has been vital in helping Leon getting things started.
You won't get instant respect, you have to earn that respect, but you have to put a framework in of discipline, of control, and understanding of what is right and wrong. And I think a lot of the time, if you've had a decent upbringing and a decent background, you instantly think people know what is right and what is wrong, and how to act and how to react. But what you have to do is you have to strip it all back, and then you have to actually judge the individual as exactly what they are. And some of these lads will come on and they'll be the perfect pupil. Some of them will be fantastic, but they just don't know how to behave, and they just want a little bit of love and a little bit of guidance. And I think they're the ones that really grab you, and they're the ones that you look at and you go, wow, I can do something with this kid. You know, and it isn't just about a football sense, it's about actually a life sense, a life change, whatever you want to call it. You know, helping that child, that person through. Because 2 years, it's a really important 2 years. People don't understand. You know, you're taking them from 16, 18, 19, taking them all the way through that is a massive part of their lives. So it is important that they get the right guidance and they learn the basic necessities to become a good person. And that, I think Leon will be able to do that and instill that in them. It will all be delivered on site. There will be a teacher there who can literally 24/7 help you. So any problems, he's there. You know, and I think that's invaluable. So none of the pupils are left on their own. The work is done under the guidance of a teacher, a fully trained, qualified teacher. It's fantastic for them. And as I say, they get all the benefits of that and all the benefits of obviously someone with Leon's experience. Everything about what I've seen what Leon's trying to do tells me that it's going to be a success. Everything that he's done fills me with enthusiasm, and I know, I would be more than prepared to put my name to anything that he does, because I know he's a decent fella and decent people do the right things at the right times, and that's what he will do.
to become a professional footballer was unheard of, coming from where I was. So you know, sometimes that did play a little bit in your mind, and you know, a lot of people was like, you know, you might be too old, or you might not make it. And you know, you look around and you think, well, you know, who is there to look up to? Who else can I, you know, say, right, I'm gonna follow the blueprint of this guy because he's from my area, he became a professional footballer. You know, I didn't have anyone to look up to, so you know, I kind of like just had to set my own footsteps, so to speak, and you know, and believe in myself.
Leon's background is something that has always piqued my interest. To come from a deprived area of inner city London and make it as a professional footballer was something of a rarity at the time. Someone that's followed a similar journey is West Ham United's Robert Snodgrass. Having grown up in a desolate part of Glasgow, Robert knows how vital it is to get the children of today away from the lure of crime.
When you're a kid, all you've got is a chance. Whatever you want to do next with that chance, it's totally up to you. You've got a chance to go into media. You've got a chance to, you know, work in a bank. You've got a chance to be a footballer. But it's up to you what you do with that next step. If you want to listen, if you want to get guided along the way, do you know what I mean? If you want to work hard. But if you want to go and sort of do what the rest of your mates are doing and the sort of shootings and stabbings, go and do it. Do you know what I mean? I remember my mum and dad sitting, all my mates, it's probably like any sort of lad growing up, and I think all my mates are sitting, you know, used to get a sort of a drink at the weekend, you know, for probably 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up, lads. And I remember I was like, my mum and dad said, why do you never say it? And I said, like, Robert, you need to watch yourself or anything like that. They went, because we won't think of you any different. You can go and drink with your friends. He says, or you can play football. Either way, we'll support you. But you've got to have that inside if you want to become a footballer. And it stuck with me all the way through, because when I look back, I had a ball under my arm everywhere I went, playing football, boom, 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 all the time, you know. So I had that option to go drinking with my mates, or do I want to play football? Everybody has that option. Everybody's got that chance. What do you do with that chance? Do you know what I mean? So probably pretty much the same as yourself. When you see football, you think it's just, I want to play in front of big crowds with a young lad, but there's a lot more to that, you know. There's that people don't see. There's hard work, determination, and I think that's what I say to you. It's amazing what you're doing. It's great because you're giving kids a little step on that ladder very early, giving them that step and a nudge to say it's possible, you know, in any walk of life.
And I'm a product of what I'm trying to obviously deliver.
Of course,
you know, as I said, I've been you know, like yourself, wherever I always had a football. And you know, I still done my going out and, you know, partying with my friends, but one thing with me, I was so disciplined to football. I could come in at whatever time, but I would definitely be at football. I would always be there on time. And you know, even when I was at university, like I was playing for a team, and you know, I was always going to be picked regardless of whether I come to training. And I used to leave from Luton and come all the way back home just to go training. And the manager was like, you know, that's just dedication. And this is what, you know, through a mentoring phase, you know, through my academy, is what I would be trying to kind of, you know, just it's repetition. You know, look guys, if you really want something, this is what you need to keep doing. You know, you need to keep, it becomes a program, really.
Of course,
You know, so I'm excited.
You must be excited, mate, because I remember Gordon Strachan speaking, and he was talking about different things sort of through grassroots of football and the way people are doing things now. It's sort of the bigger clubs, and it's great to a certain level to try and produce players. And he says, but what's the point if you're not giving lads a chance? Do you know what I mean? What's the point in getting these youth players through? Where is the breakthrough for these big clubs? And he says, just let kids enjoy themselves, just let kids play. He says, don't you get a kid to travel for here for you to tell him his position, for you to say, cause your height, you're a striker, or you're a goalkeeper, or you're a defender. Do you know what I mean? He says, just let the kids play, just let them enjoy it. He says it will eventually work into sort of structure for them to go into the stressful routes of sort of getting into full-time football because it does
Yeah.
become stressful,
Yeah.
because it's your life. It's sort of having that desire to be the best. He says, and that will come eventually. He says, but for you, what you're doing, you're getting kids to sort of, there's everything involved in what you're doing, do you know what I mean? But one
Yeah.
thing, these kids are going to have a smile on their face. That's what it's all
Gotta have
about.
a smile. I tell my son that all the time, no matter what. I said, I want you to make 1,000 mistakes.
Yeah.
Because from those 1,000 mistakes, you will learn from each
Of
and
course
every
you
one
will,
of
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and as time goes on or progresses,
Yeah.
they become less and less and less.
Yeah.
You know, but don't be one of those players, you know, to play within yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're never ever going to get better.
Yeah.
You know, if you just keep it safe all the time, you know, go out and, you know, go and do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, and if it doesn't work, you're like, okay, next time I might not do it in this area, I'll do it here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, I might have a look up and, you know, release a pass, or, you know, and it's just confidence.
Yeah, of course.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm aiming to do, obviously, as I said, on the mental side and on the physical side.
Yeah.
You know, we have a problem with obesity,
Yeah.
you know, in the world,
Yeah.
let alone just this country.
Yeah.
So, you know, if this was available when I was coming up,
Yeah.
through, like, you know, the non-league, you know, to do an education mixed with, you know, football training on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
I would have been up for this, you know, hands down.
Yeah.
So, you know, now, obviously, I know there's a lot of them about now, but obviously I just want to kind of, you know, put my stamp on it, and yeah, just provide a good service and, you know, just, as I said, guide the next generation.
Hearing Leon speak with Snodgrass was eye-opening. It's easy to see why the two of them got on so well together, given that they've both accomplished so much coming from their respective areas. I want to know more about Leon's surroundings when he was growing up, so I've asked him to take me back to where it all started.
This was like the best estate, well-kept estate in the area. But, you know, used to have water fights, used to play run-outs, knock down ginger, you know, and when the football come out, we'd be like standing on this bit here, and someone would just say, who wants to play goals? And it was literally a sprint down the stairs. Some of us would jump over the banister, and you would sprint down this little hill here. Some of us used to fall over where we were trying to get to the best goal, but to be honest, I think this is my happiest times. We should have known the area was changing, really, because I think a Japanese bank came in and they bought the land, and this is what they built. And as I said, it's still here, and I'm sure a lot of, you know, affluent people live here now because the city's just a stone throw away. So yeah, the area changed massively. If you wasn't playing football in the estate, or you weren't playing football at one of the, you know, the youth clubs, whether it's Lion Boys Club, Pitfield Club, we had the Red Hut, we had the Blue Hut, Crown Manor, then you was playing football here. In the summertime especially, we used to have loads of football tournaments, like everyone just come and we'd be here till God knows what time. Football was your get together because everyone, you know, guys that were up to no good, you want to call them roadmen or whatever, but when you came together and you played football, that was that kind of thing you had in common. So you could be walking down the road and there might be a group of like 9-10 guys who might be looking at you thinking, who's that kid? But one of them would turn around and say, nah, I know him, he's a good footballer, he comes over the park. And then straight away they'll see you maybe a day or 2 days later and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're Thingy's friend. And then before you know it, you've made another group of friends and then another group of friends and another group of friends. And that's what I'm saying about the community spirit. It was so good. Like, you never felt like you was in any danger. Despite the rough things that were going on around there, I always felt safe. And my little sister could walk the streets and everyone knows that's Leon's little sister. Seeing this, you know, makes me feel like, you know, a lot of it's still here, but as I said, it's a different breed of people now, you know. It's not always necessarily the same people that I grew up with, which is fine. People move on to different areas, but, you know, sometimes, you know, different cultures come in, you know, whether it's yuppies and, you know, they don't always respect, you know, the people that's been living here for how many years, which is a sad thing. I just think when you move into an area, you know, you should learn to integrate with people. Because if I move to another area, like I have done through my footballing career, I don't bring my attitude, you know, the attitude that I think I can, you know, that is allowed in Hoxton. I don't bring that to some, you know, to another area. I have to respect that area and learn to integrate in that area. And I think that's the only thing that kind of spoils the so-called community now. When you've got something that you're a part of and you're made to feel important, which, as I said to you before, is what everyone wants in life. No matter who you are, everyone likes to feel important, everyone likes to feel wanted, and everyone likes to belong to something. So all I'm trying to do is offer the opportunity to belong to something positive rather than to belong to something negative, you know, because, you know, belonging to, you know, something to do with, you know, football, education, you know, something that's going to give you a future, than to belong to something like a gang, which, you know, the only way it's going to happen for you is either you're going to lose your life, you're going to end up, you know, taking someone else's life, or you'll end up going to jail. You know, whatever the outcome is, it's not a good outcome.
Something I've heard a lot throughout the making of this documentary is that Leon has often been one to look out for the younger generation. Having spent time together at Leeds United, current professional Fabian Delph is testament to Leon's encouragement from a young age.
We've always connected, I think, from when I got to Leeds. For me, always been like a respectful person, always showed, like, you know, respect to your elders as well. And I just think, obviously, where you are now was something that was always going to happen. And I remember having these kind of conversations with you like many years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, how are you finding it now you're here?
Yeah, I'm here now. To be honest with you, I've not really thought about it that much.
Yeah.
I think obviously when my days are done playing, I'll probably look back and think about like the accomplishments and playing at certain clubs and achieving certain things.
Is it something that you always knew you was going to get to, if that makes sense? Because
Yeah.
obviously you must have known your talents that you had yourself, even though obviously a few of us could see it as well. But you must have obviously had that confidence.
I mean, it's when I was obviously confident and I was a little bit wild, but I always remained respectful and stuff. But I never actually visioned being here right now, if you know what I mean. I knew I'd be a professional footballer, but obviously training with you guys and having the serious conversations where we'd sit down and talk about life and about where we want to be in X amount of years, it's obviously helped me a lot. And one thing I remember when I first met you is, I mean, we was young. We was always a little bit nervous of the first team players.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have to show a certain amount of respect, and you almost wait to be approached rather than approach the first team players.
Yeah.
And the team at the time, there was big, strong, aggressive players, and we was very nervous. And I remember when I first met you, and you were so happy and so welcoming, and always took time to come and speak to me and the other young players. And what that does for a young player is you couldn't believe what that done for me as a young player. You know, I obviously came with a reputation. You was bagging goals left, right, and centre.
Good times, yeah.
And for you to come and speak to me, and you know, it was a big thing for me. I remember ringing my mum and saying, "Oh, I've been sat down speaking to the first team player today. Leon was here. He was making us laugh."
Now I want to give something back with you know, Constantine's Academy, and I just thought this would be the perfect opportunity to kind of get the views of someone who I've seen from the age of 16, 17 go on to become obviously a top player, training like a top team. So I know I can obviously guide the next youngster and give them that confidence, like you said, to, you know, to be around senior people and you know, be confident and obviously express their talents. So that's just my view. So
no, I mean, for me, when I look back at it now, if I had a son, a young boy, and I had the opportunity to put him in the position that I was in, I would put him in it straight away. I would say, there's a guy here, an experienced pro, with an older head on his shoulders, and he's always going to look out for the young guys.
Yeah.
So me looking forward, if I had younger boys, I would 100% put them into that academy.
And I sometimes just sit back and just watch. You know, I remember getting the calls when, you know, I think you might even still hold a record for MOMs in a row.
Maybe.
When you got into Leeds first team. I'm sure Andy Hughes told me. He said
maybe.
He was just literally, I mean, he was on the phone to me every week. Like, Leon, this kid, like, seriously, like, so, you know, just the way you obviously stepped up into that team and just started to, you know, it weren't like a teething period. It's like you just kind of, it was like you was just waiting, ready for it, you know. And it was just a joy to hear. And, you know, you're now doing the same thing now to my son, you know, sending him, you know, a Delph kit from Aston Villa, and he, you know, FaceTiming him from the England, when you first got into the England camp, you know, the Man City kits, like, it's done so much for him, you know, and I've got nothing but appreciation for that as well. So, you know, it's just nice to see it come round, you know what I mean? Now, you know, you're going to be someone that he knows, that he sees on TV. He's always, the first thing he does when he's, I tell you, there's Uncle Delph. I'm like, you know. So for me, it's really, really good, really good. And again, the support for, you know, what I'm trying to achieve and what I'm trying to offer with Constantine's Academy is massive, and obviously I won't forget that.
Yeah, I've got no doubt that it'll be a success as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you brought 10% of what you've got, it's going to be a success. But giving it 100%, everything about you is going to make that Constantine Academy successful.
The divide between the modern day professional footballer and an everyday person is seemingly becoming larger and larger. In the case of Leon, his desire to give back to his community is a thriving example of how footballers can connect with people on a personal level. With that in mind, I want to find out how Leon has already impacted his local community and how he's helped players such as Snodgrass and Delph in their development.
I remember Leon when we used to call it the Batmobile. I think he had a BMW, all blacked out. Never seen anything like it. Me and the guys was like, what is that? It's like Knight Rider. And then we bumped into Leon. I'm not sure if he remembers it, but we said, what about that car? Wow, it's amazing. And then he said, come on. Sat us in the car, took us for a little drive, and he said to us, if you work hard and you give 100% every day, then one day you'll have something like this. And that was huge for us as young guys.
From the time he was in my womb, he loved football. I always said he's going to be a little footballer because he was kicking so much. He was very easy child to raise. Didn't give me any problem at all. It was just a pleasure to raise him. Everyone loves Leon, just like how his mum loves him. My friends love him. His friends love him. His teachers love him. He was just one of those child. He was a pleasure to raise.
The area that Leon grew up in, he could have quite easily been led along the wrong path. You know, a lot of crime, getting involved in gangs, and I think that because he's been around that and he's actually built something amazing for himself with becoming a professional footballer, I think that he's a good role model for those young boys, and he can show them that there is another way. With
my experience with Leon growing up in the Leeds Academy, which is a very, very well-renowned academy, it's a tough place to be in, and you got to give it 100%. I think without the guidance of Leon and some of the other guys, I'm not sure I'd be where I am now. So it's definitely given me the base to kind of kick on.
He's been helping me a lot just by little conversations. He's came and watched a right good few of the games this year. He's always kind of there to kind of speak and relate through that football side because he's been there. He understands the game. He knows what it's about, and sort of that shoulder sometimes when things aren't going well. Because since I've obviously arrived down here, it's been tough because I've no sort of scored the goals and created goals the way I wanted to do that. And sometimes just speaking about, you know, why are you doing anything different, or is there anything happening? But you realise that, you know, it's football, and sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. But you need to keep working hard, or you need to work even harder to get it right.
Every time we go out, right, it's always someone stopped him, someone always approached him. He always seemed to have time for everyone. It doesn't matter who it is or how long he hasn't seen someone. I mean, just the other day, Sunday, we were just driving past the pub just down the road, and all of a sudden someone shouted to him. He stopped, they came over, you know. Everyone just seemed, everywhere you go, everyone just seemed to really love him, and he always seemed to find time for everyone.
I think it's very important if you have an academy around here or whatever, that's good for the young people. I think they need to have something like what Leon is trying to do, to encourage them to come off the streets and, you know, get into football or get into some sports or whatever it is, you know, or some education or something like that. It's very, very important.
It's something that, you know, since leaving football, I think, you know, he took a little bit of a back step for a while. I think because he, you know, was so sad that he had to finish football, and he's really excited and he can't wait to get it stuck in, and I know that it's going to make him really happy, and I'm really proud of him.
When he got invited to start playing football, I encouraged him to carry on doing his media study. I think he'd done about 2 years and he had another year to go. So I sort of encouraged him to carry on doing his media study, which has helped him better now in what he's doing now, trying to set up his academy. So I always encourage him to do his university studies.
Every time he goes to another club, he learns something new. So the point is, it's not just the club. He's been learning from a young age, because it wasn't easy for him to get where he got to. Football doesn't last forever, so he needs to always have something else he could fall back on. So that's why education is very important. But then again, if you do get the opportunity, I think you should take it.
He's very passionate about everything he does, and everything he's got his mindset on, he'll give it absolute 100%. He's passionate about football, he's passionate about his family and his friends, and he'll absolutely do anything for anybody.
He loves the game, and he likes to see people, he likes results. You know, he doesn't want to do it and don't get results from it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he was firm as well as being kind. I mean, if I misplace a pass, if I'm sloppy, if I'm not working as hard as I should be, then he would tell you. If you're doing well, he would tell you that you've been amazing. So every aspect of growing up and developing into a young footballer, for me personally, Leon was pretty much on my case. So with him setting up his own academy, I can picture him being exactly the same with every single one of his players.
Parents need to find the time, and you need to find what your child like to do. And I think that's the most important thing. And it's to find something to do and always knowing where they're going.
Your parents are always trying to look out for you, they're trying to get you the best sort of thing. Leon is saying about his son and different things. He's a parent first and foremost, so he knows that feeling, what makes a kid happy. And what puts a smile on their face, you know, and sometimes it's just letting them play football. And I think sort of the discipline, obviously for a kid, sort of off the park, it's quite difficult, because you need to let kids make mistakes sometimes to learn. And this is the full reason why how Leon's there, to sort of that shoulder to lean on and say, you know, how do I do this or that. And I think it's big, but also think you need to let kids just be free, let them enjoy themselves, let them choose their path, what they want to do.
I'm just a lucky person that I've managed to develop good relationships along my journey through football. But if I hadn't, you know, I would have had to have gone and maybe got a job doing whatever. And as I said, I've not finished my degree, so in respect, I haven't really got any qualifications. that would make me, walk into a job that will pay me the kind of money that I've been used to when I was a professional footballer. I know the influences and how you can get persuaded into certain, lifestyles are so easy, because I've seen some guys are talented footballers and, they just got caught up in the wrong crowd and they ended up in jail. So I get it and I know it, and I don't look down on anybody. I just want to offer that opportunity and that helping hand, to any 16 to 19-year-olds that's thinking, they're at a crossroads, what do I want to do? Come and join my academy. As I said, it's not all about becoming a professional footballer, it's about gaining something and it's about being part of something.
What Leon's doing is terrific. I think it's great what he's doing. It's great for sort of, you see so many professionals sort of stop playing and they don't know their career path or what they're going to do. But one thing Leon knows is football. He's been about it his full life. He knows people because he's a people's person. He knows what it's all about. So I think it's when you've got that and you've got those sort of skills and those traits, I think it's great. So I think you should be part of it.
Following Leon's journey these past few months has been nothing short of a revelation. To explore the life of a former professional has been a humbling experience, and his plans for his academy fill me with nothing but excitement. The passion Leon has for developing the future footballer is unquestionable, and it comes as no real surprise that he wants to show the next generation a better way of life.